Hi, welcome back to Sarah Lilly Makes. My name is Sarah and this is my journaling space here on YouTube where I like to document and share all the things I have been making. Today's episode is about all the things that I have made in 2024, and if you're interested in any of that, I hope you stick around and I hope you enjoy. So welcome back if you're returning. I've had quite an influx of new subscribers and I just wanted to give a huge shout out and thank you to Amelie Makes everything over here on YouTube, and I just feel so honored that you would mention me in your channel, Ali, and thank you so much for mentioning me, and thank you to everyone who followed her recommendation and followed my channel. It's been a hot minute since I've been on here. It's been about 3.5 months, I think. And yeah, life has been challenging to say the least. I'll just do a brief introduction for all the new subscribers. My name is Sarah. I live in Northern California with my husband and 4 of our kids. My oldest is back at home. He just graduated high school and he started UCLA this past fall, but because of the situation there, he's back home. He's safe, and yeah, it's been a lot. This past year has been a lot. I know you're not here for the rambling. I know you're here for the knitting, so I'll get to that. I have been knitting for about 14 years. I have been collecting yarn for longer than that. I've been collecting yarn for about 16 years now, I'm pretty sure. And that's a secondary hobby. I'm not making a joke about it, but I feel grateful and I feel privileged to be able to knit and to have access to materials that I have. And yeah, knitting is a hobby to me, and I use it for my mental health and for my sanity. But at the same time, I don't take it lightly that it's a privilege to be able to knit, and to knit for myself and to knit for my loved ones. And yeah, I enjoy knitting. This past year, 2024, I feel like my knitting time was less than it was in the previous years, and that's just because of circumstances and life and everything that's been happening in our family. It's just been a lot, and as much as I rely on knitting for like decompressing and my mental health, I feel like I didn't as much this past year. At the same time, I feel like I did accomplish some of my primary goals, which was to use a lot of color, knit 24 items in 2024, and what was my last one? I feel like I had something else and I can't remember now. Anyway, to knit more for my family, I think, which I didn't really do. I probably knitted like 5 things for family members, but anyway. I did knit 24 things in 2024. I have my notes all on my computer here, so I'll just be glancing down. Let me see what I actually knitted this past year. So my goal was 24 projects, and I knitted 28, so that's not too bad. Comparatively, and I do not want to compare myself to anyone or even to myself from previous years, I knitted less last year than I did in the previous year. And that's, like I said, circumstances, life. There's a lot of life happening last year and a lot of challenging obstacles and family crises and whatnot, but yeah, I still managed to knit and I still managed to get my goals done, and a lot of it is, I think, more 4mm and up projects, which to me, you know what, garment is a garment at the end of the day. I'm putting it on my body, it's keeping me warm, or it's keeping me cool, or whatnot. And yeah, at the end of the day, I did my hobby the way I wanted to, and I accomplished what I felt like I had wanted to accomplish in 2024. So without further ado, we'll get to the knitting, and I will go chronologically. I will start with the first thing I knitted and end with the last thing that I knitted. I am not going to go into full detail for most of these projects because I have talked about them in my last 4 or 5-ish episodes or so. I'll also try them on as I talk about it so you can see a little bit of how it looks and how it wears. And I'll just talk about the yarn, the pattern, how I felt about the project, and how much wear I got out of it. And at the end, I'll talk about my favorites. I think the last 4 or 5 garments that I share, I will go into further detail because they were completed in the last 3 months, which I did not share here yet. So I'll talk about those in more detail than the previous garments. I like to do this because it feels satisfying. So I will just grab everything that I have on my table right here. Okay, this is a lot. Okay, that's a lot of knitting. Yes, I did knit a lot. But like I said, they're all, not all, but maybe 50% of them are 4 millimeters. They're sweaters, thick sweaters. All right, let's start with my first project, and I will look at my Ravelry because I try to keep notes on my Ravelry. I'll do my best to include descriptions down below in the description box. But if I don't get to that, everything will be on my Ravelry. I am Sarah Toscano on Ravelry, and I also am pretty active on Instagram, at least on Instagram stories, kind of lately. So if you are interested in following me on those platforms, feel free. I will include the links below. The first thing I knitted in 2024 was the Twist Loop Sweater, which is a garment pattern from Other Loops. Okay. This is a all-over ribbed and cable knit, which I knitted with Explore Knits and Fibers, their DK and Suri alpaca lace. I really love this garment. The only thing about this, and I brought it up in the episode that I shared this garment in, is that it is not size inclusive. And she does not make size inclusive patterns. I know there was a discussion on that episode about size inclusivity, and I'm not here to argue about that. I choose, that's my personal opinion and my personal preference. I will furthermore not support designers that don't include sizes for everybody, so to speak. And I'm not looking for further discussion on that in the comments below. So just putting that out there. I'm not looking for discussion on that. I made the sweater. I had the pattern. Decided that I will not be supporting pattern designers that don't include everyone in their pattern sizes. So anyway, I really liked this garment. The only thing is that I'll go back a little. It is very long. It comes really low. It comes it covers my butt pretty much. And I don't necessarily care for super long knits like that, but that could also be because of the fiber that I used. I used a superwash yarn paired with a Suri alpaca lace. But also there were a lot of comments in previous projects that this is very, very oversized. And as much as I like an oversized knit, this is just way too oversized. And I did wear this quite a bit, like at the start of 2024, because I just finished it. I really loved it. I love the color. This is one of my favorite colors. And once it started warming up, I'd never really reached for it again because it's just, I have to tuck it in to just make it feel comfortable, and it's really not a tucking in garment because of how thick it is. But overall, it is a really nice design. I wish she would include larger sizes because there's some really subtle details that just make it really lovely. She has some really lovely patterns. I really wish I could knit more of them. I just, for personal reasons, I just can't. So that's the end of that. Like I said, this is the twist loop sweater from Other Loops, and my personal feelings aside, it's a great pattern. And I really loved my yarn choice. I could have done a non-superwash wool, and it probably would have not been as long as this. Alright, my second knit is a Sandnes Garn pattern. If you are new to my channel, you'll quickly realize that I have a very slight obsession with Sandnes Garn designs. I love their patterns, and I knit a lot of my projects from their patterns. So I haven't calculated how many Sandnes Garn patterns I knitted this year, but I probably will at the end and include it. So this is the Facile Sweater from Sandnes Garn, and this is pattern number 2308-7, and I used pistachio, the color pistachio, and the yarn is ballerina chunky mohair. Okay, I really like this. I wore this quite a few times over dresses and like tank tops with skirts, and that's normally my personal style. But if you're not used to mohair, if you find mohair itchy, you will find this very itchy. I don't have particularly sensitive skin, so I find that this is comfortable even with a tank top on. It's just me, and it might not be the best for others who have sensitive skin. But yeah, I can't go back too far because it's just gonna, this is where this reaches me, and I'm just really happy with this. I wore this quite a bit, like I said, with dresses and skirts, and it's just an easy thing to just throw on over like a white t-shirt with like a cute skirt, and it's just an outfit already made. So I made the size medium large. I will say that I do make medium and medium large for most of my knits for myself. I like it with a little bit of positive ease, not just that much positive ease, because I don't want to be swimming in a garment. So medium large suits me, and it's just my personal preference. So this is the Facile Sweater knitted with 2 strands of ballerina chunky mohair held together, and there's a simple bind off at the edges on the body, the neck as well, and the sleeves. There's no I-cord edge, which it looks like it might be, but it just, the way the pattern is written, slipping the first stitch and knitting the last stitch or something like that, and it makes a very neat edge without having to go back and pick up stitches for an I-cord, which I really like. And yeah, that's a nice way to do a very simple facile garment. Okay, the next thing that I knitted, which is a pattern that I made for my son. This is the Phillipe sweater, Phillipe Cozy Genser, and this is also a Sandnes Garn pattern, and it is from, I don't have the pattern down here, but it is, the name of the pattern is Phillipe Cozy Genser, and I knitted this with Poppy. So they released Poppy at the start of 2024, and then they released a few patterns correlating with that yarn release, and I think that is the pattern that I used. That was for kids. So they have an adult size, an adult pattern for Poppy, the Poppy yarn, and then I think like 2 patterns for kids with the yarn. So I used this pattern, Phillipe Cozy Genser. I used 8 balls of yarn for that, if I recall. Nope, I used 6 balls of yarn for that project, and I could have used, it calls for 8 balls, if I remember correctly, because I have 2 balls left. And I want to go back in and add some length to the sleeves because he's growing, and he loves the sweater. I make a lot of knits for my son because he asks for them and he wears them all the time. So I'm not complaining about that, but I think I do want to go back in and add some length to the sleeve so he can wear it for a bit longer. The next thing I made is another stainless garn pattern, and it is the Facile Cardigan, a single strand of ballerina chunky mohair. Sorry, I'm hearing noise in the back. Okay. I do not really wear this too much. I really wanted to wear this, and I don't know, I just didn't really find opportunities to wear this as much as I would have liked to. I probably wore this once, if that even, but it's a really nice pattern. I love the yarn, like I said. I love Facile. I love the ballerina chunky mohair, but I don't know what it is about this that I feel like I might need to add buttons. That's probably what it is, because I like to button my cardigans, and this has no button band. You just end it with a slip the first stitch purlwise, knit the last stitch to give it the neat edge, and I just left it like that. And I probably could add a button band. I have the yarn to do it, but I'm not sure what it was about this that I didn't really. It's gorgeous. I mean, the color is lovely and it's perfect for spring. I'll probably try to see if I could wear it some this spring. But it's got a really nice little balloon sleeve. The thing about this is I messed up quite a bit knitting this, and it's a Facile pattern. It's an easy pattern. It's meant to be beginner friendly. My problem is this yarn was kind of hard to work with, especially with a single strand, because it would easily fall off. I use metal knitting needles, and the stitches easily fall off, and I would be knitting this like watching TV or something, and I wouldn't catch that I dropped a stitch till it's too late, or I would catch that I accidentally I made a yarn over, and then it was too late. And then there were quite a few where I had to like undo a stitch, undo a yarn over, or ladder down and pick up a drop stitch. And there were a few places like that, and I think that's not really why I didn't wear it, but it's just the yarn. Knitting with a single strand of this yarn was kind of a pain. I don't know if that kind of reflected in my desire to not want to wear it, but it could be. But anyway, this is the Facile Cardigan with ballerina chunky mohair, and it was like a bright yellow. The color is 9004. If you're interested in this color, it's a really gorgeous yellow. I wanted to make something else with this yellow, and I didn't get around to it, but anyway. Moving on to my next project, and that is I did a test knit. I did a few test knits for Coco Amore knitwear this year, and this is the Montrose Sweater from Coco Amore knitwear. Okay, I actually really love this. This is a very oversized, very textured knit. I used Filcolana Peruvian Highland wool and hedgehog fibers kid silk mohair in the colorway Disco. So I'll go back a little bit. If you can see, there is a stripe right here. So I don't alternate my skeins of hand-dyed yarn. I've talked about this before. It really doesn't bother me, and I'm too lazy to alternate. I know it's not that difficult to do. I'm too lazy to do it, and I don't care. At the end of the day, I don't care. So it doesn't bother me at all. It might bother others, but there's a difference in the yarns, essentially. But this is a really fun knit. It's textured with 2 rounds of knit and 3 rounds of purl. So this was really fun. This was very addicting to knit. And as much as I don't dislike purling, but this was a lot of purling, but it was still fun. And I don't dislike purling at all. So I know I knit English style, so I don't know if that really matters or not, but yeah, I had fun with this. This was a fun project. It was fun to keep seeing the speckles just appear as I was knitting, and I really love this garment. I don't think I wore this as a whole lot, but I did get some wear out of it. I really like hedgehog fibers, kid silk yarns. I love color. For this year, I feel like I really needed the color this year because it just was helping motivate me to keep knitting. And using hand-dyed yarns and using bright colors like the projects I just shared kind of was what kept me knitting. Yeah, that's all it was, really. So I made a size medium for myself with this, and I just really like this. This was a fun knit, and this is just fun to like wear. Yeah, the sleeves are also slightly different, but don't know if you could really tell. But it's just really nice. I like this a lot. My next project is the Cumulus Blouse, and this is probably my most worn knit this year. Mine and my daughter's. She stole it from me so many times, and I had to like go search for it in her closet and take it back. Okay, this is the Cumulus Blouse. I knitted this with Cerise Alpaca in the colorway Last Chapter. I used 5 skeins of this yarn, and then I ran out at the end. I talked about this already. So I had to, from here to here, just use a different colorway from Sorella, and it was fine. Like, it's at the back, it's like tucked in, you can't really see it, so it doesn't really bother me too much. But this is definitely one of my most worn knits this year. I love this. I love the Cumulus Blouse pattern from Petite Knit, and I will make 100 more of these. I made 2 Cumulus Blouses this year, 2024, and I made 1 in 2023. So I have 3 Cumulus Blouses, and it's definitely not going to be my last. But this is very soft. I love Cerise Alpaca lace. If you're sensitive to mohair, this is such a great alternative. The only thing is it sheds. Like, you can see it flying everywhere. Mohair sheds too, but this is like 10 times sheddy. This sheds 10 times more than mohair, I think. It's like when I'm knitting with it and I'm wearing black leggings, it's all over my legs. But it doesn't really bother me, so. Anyway, let me go back a little bit. This is a perfect length for me. I really like the length that I knitted this at, and yeah, I'm just really happy with this. Nothing else to say. It's a great knit. It's a great piece to have in my wardrobe. Okay, the next thing that I made was another Stannis Garn pattern, and that is the Hilton Cardigan. So I will just throw this on. I really loved this. I talked about this pattern a lot. I ran into some trouble with the yarn quantities because they listed the incorrect yarn quantity in the pattern. But this, I love this. I wore this, when I finished making it, I wore it out of town with family trip for my son to look at a UC college, UC Santa Cruz, and I ended up in the ER. That's my memory of this garment, so it's not a positive one. Nevertheless, I still really love this. I love the color. I love my yarn choice, which I did not follow Stannis Garn's yarn choice. I knitted this with Stannis Garn's Purgint and Alpaca Folgotrad, which is their lace weight alpaca yarn. And I really love this. It's got a really striking color block here. You pick up the front, and then there's a really thick double knit button band, which I really like. It's not really thick compared to another cardigan that I knitted this year. To me, this just looks store-bought, and I take that with a positive connotation, and I really like it. I really, really like this garment, despite the fact that it has like a negative memory. But nevertheless, I really like this knit. I would make another one of these if I had the chance. But yeah, this was a fun knit. This is fun to wear because of how bright and expressive it is, in my opinion. So I really like this a lot. Next we have another petite knit pattern. Okay, this is definitely another one of my most worn knits this year. I feel like my petite knit patterns are usually the ones that I wear the most. This is the Lyon Sweater. This also has a negative feeling because this is what I was knitting on the way to our trip and on the way back home when I ended up in the ER. This is knitted with Sandnes Garn Sunday Held Double, which is the recommended yarn for the pattern. And I used almond and plastic pink. They're both petite knit colors. So I also talked about this before, but you might see a little darker patch right there. There was like an oil stain or something on this sweater, and I thought that I had a brilliant idea to use the fabric depiller to take it off. And I did take it off, and I took off half of my stitches. So I went in and I duplicate stitched with Sunday Held Double, and it made it a bit bulky here. I think if I had duplicate stitched it with a single strand of this Sandnes Garn Sunday, it would have been not as bulky and it would have been fine. It's fine. I don't care too much. It's not bothering me too much. I made this sweater for my daughter. I made a different one for my younger daughter, and I wanted to make a matching one for myself. A semi-matching one. Hers is whipped cream and plastic pink. Mine is almond and plastic pink. So we have a matchy-matchy. We wear it together sometimes, and everyone's like, "Oh, you guys are matching. So cute." It's just funny. I think it's funny. This was definitely one of my most worn knits for 2024, which is why I ended up with an oil stain on it, because I was just tossing it around the car, and yeah. But yeah, I will make this again. In fact, I did make it again, but in a different weight for my older daughter. Lyon Sweater by Sandnes Garn. My next knit was another test knit for Cheryl of Cocoa More Knitwear, and that is the Amesbury Cardigan. And I loved this. I wore this quite a bit this year over dresses and such. My only thing is, I think my double knit button band is just slightly askew. So I picked up the same amount of stitches for both sides of the double knit button band, but this one feels shorter, and I think it's because the buttons, when I added the buttons, it tugs on the fabric and it tightens it up a bit, if that makes sense, and it just makes it a little bit shorter. And I don't have like a solution to how to fix that. So I don't know. If you have any ideas, please let me know. Aside from adding extra stitches to the double knit, which sometimes is kind of hard to do if I'm picking up every single stitch. I don't know. If you have a solution, let me know, please, because that happened to me twice this year with my double knit button bands. But yeah, I really love this. I wore this quite a bit. I wore this on a few trips. I took this with me on a few trips with our family, and I love this. I feel like I made it the perfect length, which is just at my wrist. And it goes perfectly with dresses and like something like this with a skirt. I just really like it. And I used Knitting for Olive, merino, and kid silk, soft silk mohair. in the colorway Pink Daisies. And yeah, this was a fun test knit. I really liked this, and I really love this color. I feel like this kind of exemplified my my resolution of using a lot of color this past year. My next project is another Facile cardigan. However, this is the one where you hold 2 skeins of ballerina chunky mohair double, I think. Yes. Yeah, this is the double version. And it's knitted the same exact way as the other Facile cardigan, the same construction, where you have a very neat edge without having to pick up stitches, and a slightly balloon sleeve here, and no button band or anything. And I used the yarn recommended for the pattern, which is ballerina chunky mohair held double, and the color I used is Blossom, which I used in one of my last projects, the Hilton Cardigan. Really like this. I did actually wear this a lot because I feel like this provides a lot more warmth than the other one because it's a single strand, and I love this color a lot. I just really love this color a lot. And it's a very quick knit, although it took me a month and a half because I kept knitting on other things at the same time. But it should be a quick knit. If you sit down and knit exclusively on this, it would be quick. Yeah, that's it for this one, the Facile cardigan. And the next project that I have is one of my most favorite and most worn summer knits of 2024, and also my daughter's. I have to remake this. There's a lot of like fuzz flying around, and this is the Millie sweater knitted with Lena from Sandnes Garn. I wore the heck out of this. Okay, it's gotten short because it's shrunk because I washed it in the washing machine and I threw it in the dryer. My daughter wears it. But it is a gorgeous bell sleeve design. Bracelet length, it's supposed to be. It's shrunk a little bit because, like I said, I've thrown it in the dryer to decrunchify it, which is fine. I don't mind tossing my Lena garments in the dryer. This is a Sandnes Garn pattern. Did I say that? It is one of their summer patterns from this past year, the Millie sweater. And I want to make this again. I want to make like 10 of these. It is knitted with 3.5mm needles, so it didn't take that long because I was very motivated to finish this because I was enjoying knitting on this and I really wanted the finished garment. So I knitted this very quickly, despite the fact that it was on 3.5mm needles. So I don't know that I would knit it that quickly again, but I definitely want to make it again. It's hard to see because I'm wearing a white t-shirt underneath, but it's a boat neck. Like I said, there's bell sleeves, and it's very basic and very straightforward to knit this. You knit the back, then you pick up the front, you add stitches here, you knit down, you join, you knit down, you add the sleeves, and then you do a very thin 2-stitch I-cord, which I loved. I didn't think I would like it, but I actually really loved it. It's very, very, very thin, and it looks almost like there isn't an I-cord there. Excuse me. But it just adds a nice touch to it. And I'll take it off. It's hard to take off because it shrunk. Which is why I want to make another one again. Okay, I'm not going to try this one on. I will just share it, and if you're interested in seeing more about it, look up my summer knits video. But this is the Lola dress, and I'm gonna be very honest. I wore this maybe once after finishing it because I just felt ridiculous wearing this. I had fun making it. It took me over a year to make it because it's a pattern from 2023, and I really wanted to make it. I really wanted to love this, and I just don't. This was a lot of work for something that just sits. Moving on. I don't like this. I don't love this at all. It just feels very like a muumuu, which you just wear around the house, which is fine. I could do that, but no. I'm not gonna frog this. I'm not gonna take this apart. I think it took too long to make this, and the yarn is like, I've washed it because I did wear it like once or twice, I think, because it's clearly been washed in the washing machine and it has shrunk because I threw it in the dryer, but it didn't shrink by much. It's just like mid-calf, and it's so long that the fabric just bears weight on itself, and it makes it sag a little bit, so it really doesn't, it's not like really shrunken. Like, this is just a lot of weight. I don't know what to say, except I will keep this still. I might wear it once or twice around the house. Yeah. The next thing I made is an Augusta Singlet. So this is another Sinus Garn pattern. It's a free pattern on their website. There might be a free pattern on their website, or it might not be. I know they have a free Augusta pattern on their website. And no, it's not this one. This is a camisole pattern from Sinus Garn. It is knitted with Ticklina, and I used the color 4033. So I love this. This is my third time making this. This is my daughter's. Technically it's mine. She just took it. That's fine. I have every intention of making more this year. And it's such a quick knit. It took me 2 days to knit this. It's supposed to have ribbing at the bottom, but I just did. It's knitted bottom up, but I just knitted it with just a long tail cast on, and just knit it up, and then you separate the front and the back, and you separate these, and then you decrease, and then you knit up with an I-cord, and then you Kitchener stitch the front and the back together. Very, very simple and very straightforward. It's a pattern from 2022. It's a pattern from 2022. And that's the Augusta Singlet. And the next thing that I have, and it's getting dark, so I apologize, the lighting is going down, is a blouse number 1 from My Favorite Things knitwear. And I knitted this with Tin Lena held double. I'm not sure if that's recommended yarn or not. Okay, I have some thoughts about this pattern. I really wanted to like this, and I don't. First of all, I had made this into a dress, and I hated it. So I was like, I need to cut this frog part of the yarn and make it into a shirt. I love this color. The Tin Lena held double makes it very sheer, as you can see. And when I cut it and frogged it, I cut it too short. As you can see, this is not my most favorite length. And I bound off too tightly. And yes, I could go back, I could undo the bind off, and I could fix it. I think by the time I was done binding off with this garment, I was just done with it. And I was just fed up, and I was like, I'm done with this. I'm not going to touch it again until I decide I want to touch it. Because once I made it as a dress, it sat in my closet. I wore it like tucked into skirts, despite the fact that it was so sheer. That's not my comfort level at all. And I wore it tucked into skirt with like a red tank top underneath. And it was just uncomfortable. So it sat in my closet for a few weeks before I decided to fix it. And then once I fixed it, I was just really just done with it. So I don't know. I don't know that I would go back right now or anytime soon and fix this, but overall as a pattern it's really nice. I like it. It's similar to the Amelie Tee, the white one that I loved, but it is quite different. So the construction is different. Oh, was I wearing this on the front? I don't know, but it has a nice little, like, I love the sleeve detail here, but it's really not been a favorite, that garment, and that's all my fault. That's no fault of the pattern. Moving on, the next thing that I knitted was the Amelie Tee, which came out this year, and it's a pattern from Petite Knit. Now, I wore this a lot. I really, really liked this pattern. I loved this design. I love this as a t-shirt. I love the stripes, and I liked my yarn choices. I messed up where I didn't have the pattern with me and I didn't bind off correctly at the body ribbing, but I did it correctly on the sleeves. But other than that, I really like this pattern. I don't care that the bind off on the body is not matching the sleeves. This was a really nice summer knit. I knitted this with Santa's Garden Sunday, which is a wool. I don't mind wearing wool all year round. I like wool. And I just really like this garment. I messed up also on the sleeve. It's supposed to be, what is it? 1 stripe main color, 2 stripes contrast color. And I accidentally did 3 stripes contrast color, so I was like, oh, whatever, I'll just do it on this other sleeve. So I did that, and it doesn't bother me. I like it just as well. So that is the Amelie Tee, which is a pattern from Petite Knit. Did I mention that? The next one that I made is the plain Yoke Tee, which is a pattern from Les Knit, Linne Home Sanso. I knitted this with, I don't want to get makeup on the edge, Santa's Garden Lina, which is one of my favorite plant-based yarns. And I really like this. I wore this quite a bit this summer because it's so casual, it's so easy to wear, so easy to knit. It's a round yoke, and you do the increases along circular yoke here, and then you do a couple of raglan increases on the arms here. Then you separate and then you knit down. This is the perfect length for me and the right amount of positive ease, I think. Not too much, not too little, and not like too much. You'll see in another garment where I did way too much positive ease. But anyway, this was a really fun knit. This was a very simple knit and very quick knit. And yeah, I love the drape of Lina as when it's knit up. I just love it. It's very flowy and it's just a great summer garment. The next thing I knitted was another test knit for Coco Amore Knitwear, and this was probably my most worn summer knit. Okay, this is the Maritime Tee, and this is knitted with Mandarin Petite, which is a 100% cotton yarn. And I love this. I wore this a ton. This year, this past summer. I probably got the most wear out of this and the Amelie Tee this past summer. So this is knitted with, like I said, Mandarin Petite. And it's a contiguous shoulder construction. I'm sure you, if you knit, you are aware of what that is, so I don't have to explain it in full detail. But I really like this. I enjoyed knitting this, and I enjoyed wearing this a lot. And that is that for the Maritime Tee. I'll just show you where it hits me. It hits me at the perfect length, which is right at my hips, which I love. Next thing is the Fabienne Tee, which I talked about in one of my last episodes. Okay. I'm pretty sure, yes. This is one of my this is my last episode that I talked about this, so apologize if you're seeing this 100 times. Okay, this garment actually holds a special place in my heart because I talked about this on my Instagram stories, but I'm sorry, I was looking at what looked like a mistake. But it's just the stitch just kind of spread out. I worked on this garment toward the end of summer when our family was moving my son into his dorm room. This is why this will hold a special place in my heart, and I just don't really love it. I followed the pattern, but I feel like I'm not the biggest fan of the yarn that I used, which is Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. I've mentioned this in the past. I know a lot of people love it. I love the drape of it. It's very nice and flowy. It's very airy. However, I think it just grows way too much, and it grew exponentially a lot more than I really, really wanted. I don't mind where it lands on me. I don't mind that it's kind of where I like my garments to fall, but I don't like the amount of positive ease that it has, and I feel like it just, I don't know, maybe I could just get used to it, but I don't want to frock this because, like I said, this has memories knitted into it, and I don't want to remove that. I don't want to remove it from my knit garments, but I don't know. I'm going to keep it. I'm not planning on frocking it. I will probably just wear it as casual, maybe with a belt. It will be okay. I'll try different options on how to wear this, but I haven't really worn this a lot, if at all, since completing it. But it holds significance and it holds memories, so I'll just leave it at that. So that's the Fabienne Tee by Lynette, like I said, and I'll move on. The other garments. Now I will talk about these garments. Hold on, let me double check really fast. If this is, yes, these have not been, all the rest of these garments or knits I will talk about in more detail if they are needed, because I haven't mentioned them at all in my channel. So this is another Cumulus blouse. I know it looks terrible with my t-shirt underneath it, so please forgive me. This is the second Cumulus blouse that I knitted this year, and it definitely got a lot of wear. This is knitted with Facile merino singles in the colorway Fluff, and I held it with Knitting for Olive kid silk mohair, soft silk mohair in the colorway Cherry Blossom, and I just love this. I adored this knit. My daughter also wore this a ton. She steals my knits, and it's fine. So I made the size medium, and I think I stopped one or two raglan increases because of my last Cumulus blouse. I figured I could get away with it, and it was fine. I used 2 skeins of the Facile, and I could have used a little bit more into the 3rd skein that I have, because I could add a little bit of length to it. But it's fine. I don't mind the length. I can wear it with like a high-waisted skirt, and it's a great outfit. So it's not that big of a deal that it's a little bit shorter than I would ordinarily like. So yeah, that is the Cumulus blouse. I don't think I really need to talk too much more about it because it's got thousands of projects on Ravelry. So, and definitely a favorite of mine. The next thing that I knitted after that is something that I started in March, and I managed to finish it in October. So this did not get very much wear. Now I will put it on. I'm not going all the way back because it does not make sense to show the whole thing. This is the Minnie Dress from Stanley Scarf. I don't hate it. I really, really, really wanted to like this, and I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. It's my own fault because I was kind of done. Because like I said, I started this in March and I finished it in October. I was just kind of done with knitting it, okay? It goes all the way down to my ankles, so just imagine that. And obviously I have a t-shirt underneath, so it looks kind of odd. But I was getting fed up with knitting this, and I was like, I want to be done. I shouldn't have been thinking like that because I bound off way too soon. I could have gone up for like another inch. I can't undo it unless I undo all the I-cord for the sleeves or the sleeve holes and the neck. If I wanted to undo it, if I wanted to add length, I have to undo all of this. And if you know me and if you've been watching me for a while, you realize no, I will not be doing that. Not right now, at least. Other than that, I really like this. I just needed the extra length on the sleeves, on the shoulders, for it to be where it's more wearable for me. It's kind of digging into my armholes because of how short I knitted this, and it's way too high. Other than that, like, I really like this. The silhouette of this, it is kind of like a nightgown, but it's also like a gorgeous casual summer dress that I could wear if I fixed it. It's my own fault. It's my own, like, wanting to rush and finish something that it kind of is the way it is right now. And yeah, we're there again. So that is the mini dress. I knitted this with Sandnes Garn's Tin Lena in Blossom. Was it Blossom? No, Peach, I think. Peach and Mandarin Petite in white. So it gives it like a soft pink marled effect. And I really, really like that. I really want to love this, and I do, with the exception of how short the neckline is, or how high up it is. I just need to find the motivation to go back and undo the I-cord edges and add some length to this neck, to the shoulder. But how it's constructed is you start at the bottom. I'll talk about it a little bit more of it. It's constructed. You start at the bottom. And you cast on like 400 stitches on 3.5 millimeter needles. And then you work up. You start decreasing in the round, going up. And then I had to do about 20 decreases, 19 or 20 decreases. So you do the decreases on the sides and one in the back. You do 3 sets of decreases every like 5 centimeters or so, like 20 times. Then you split here for the front and the back. Then you knit the back up. You put the stitches on hold once you split here, and you do the what are these called? The shoulders, the shoulder straps. And then you come back to the front and you do the same. And my problem was I just stopped too short. When I got here, I should have knitted up maybe an inch more, and it would have been the ideal length for me. So that's fine. I'm not complaining about it. It'll be okay. Okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more things to talk about. All right, this is definitely my favorite knit this year. Now it's really dark, so I'm gonna turn on a light. I don't know if that helps it or anything or not, but okay. This is the Magne cable Genser, Magne cable sweater, and it is a pattern from Rauma Garn. And I purchased this pattern from Garntopia. I purchased the booklet from Garntopia, and you have to purchase the yarn, the corresponding yarn, which, you know, I'm kind of used to because I do that with Sandnes Garn most of the times. But I really love this. This is my favorite. This is definitely my favorite knit for this year. And I got some good wear out of it too. I've been wearing it quite a bit this past winter. This is knitted with Rama Fivel, and I'll talk a little bit about the construction because I haven't talked about this yet. This is knitted bottom up. I will go back a little bit. This is knitted from the bottom up. You split for the front and the back. You knit up, then you do a 3 needle bind off at the shoulders. You knit the sleeves separately, and then you join them at the armholes, and then you knit the neck. This took me 10 months because I started at the end of January, and I was so loving the pattern. I was so motivated, and then I just burnt out. Like, this year was just a lot, and I just needed something uncomplicated, so I just picked up a lot of stockinette projects that didn't require a lot of focus and attention. So this took me a while. This took me 10 months to make, which is totally fine. I'm not complaining about it. I have it finished here, and I've been enjoying wearing it. So it's, at the end of the day, it's been a great project, and I love doing all the cabling, all the different textures, all the different cables. It was a fun project. Once I was in the mindset to do it, it was very fun to work on. I think that's it about this project. It looks really dark on camera, but it's not. It's very vibrant in real life, and I just really love this. It picks up every little bit of fuzz. That's my only complaint, I suppose, about this project, this yarn. But it's not particularly rustic. I think I can compare this to Peer Gynt, if you are familiar with that yarn. And I really like it. I really love this project. This is definitely my favorite project this year. The next thing that I have is a Sevilla Blouse from Petite Knit. And I finished this also in October or November? October. Okay, I really love this pink. I did not get this a lot of wear out of this because I finished it in October. And it's gotten kind of chilly since October. And it's more of like a 3/4 sleeve length garment, and it's not quite my favorite. So the length for winter is not my favorite. So this will get more wear this spring and summer for sure. This did not get a lot of wear this year because I used Lina and Tinlina held double, which was one of the recommended yarns for the pattern, I think, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I do like this a lot. I just haven't gotten a chance to wear it. It's a good length for me. The sleeve is not the best length for winter, and also the fabric is not the best for winter, in my opinion, for where I live, anyway. So this is another boat neck style. I did some modifications to this. I'm pretty sure the pattern calls for ribbing. I didn't do ribbing. I just did a 2-stitch I-cord on all the edges, which is what I did for the Millie sweater from Agnes Cardigan. So I just kind of copied that, and I did the rolled edge the way the pattern recommends at the neck. The next thing that I have is a beanie, which I made for my husband, and he never really wears it because he works inside. So I like this. I've been wearing it because I like it. This is a pattern from Agnes Cardigan. I will leave it on, actually. And I don't care for beanies that have like that much at the top. Not too much anyway. But I kind of like my beanies to fit close to my head. But even if it has a tiny bit of space, it's okay. But not, I don't like beanies that sit on my head like that much. Just feels uncomfortable to me. Feels like it's falling off my head. Anyway, this is a pattern from Agnes Cardigan. It's a Charlie beanie for men. And I knitted this with alpaca wool and alpaca folded thread held together. And I think I used 3.5 millimeter needles. The pattern itself calls for twisted rib, but I Ain't nobody got time for that. Well, I did the next pattern, but yeah, I didn't. I just did regular rib, and yeah. My next pattern is another beanie, actually, so I'll take this one off. And I knitted the Oslo beanie. I need to fix this because, oh boy, I really love this yarn. See, I just said I hated that, and then I did it. I need to fix this because I sewed it down too tightly. So if you're familiar with the Oslo beanie, you're supposed to do like 2 layers, then turn the work around with a short row, and then keep knitting up. Then you're supposed to fold it in and then sew the edge to the layer here, to the first. You're supposed to sew it in, and I sewed it in too tightly, so it's a little bit snug here. But you know what? It's fine. I don't mind. I like it. But I don't like it so. I made it for my daughter. She doesn't like it, so I'm keeping it. And it's fine if it's a little bit big. All right, moving on. This is the Oslo beanie. Did I say that? From Petite Knit. My hair. Okay, that's fine right there. All right, my next project is a favorite. Another favorite. This is the Agnes Cardigan from Tennis Garn. They released this past fall, and I fell in love with the pattern, and I really loved knitting this up. This is a cardigan that I used tin Peer Gynt and tin silk mohair. Yes, tin Peer Gynt in the color Natural Tweed, and tin silk mohair in like off-white, the color 1012. So I enjoyed knitting this. I did do twisted rib. I talked about ain't nobody got time for that, and then I did twisted rib. It's fine. I did it on the hem as well. So this has a 28 stitch double knit button band. It's a bit of an overkill, but I actually really like the look of it because it looks store-bought again, which I don't mind. Like I said, I feel like the extra wide double knit button band just gives it an extra element of sophistication, in my opinion, and I just like it. I liked it a lot, and I really loved. As much as I had so much color going on in my life, I kind of needed a little bit of neutral. So yeah, this has been a really enjoyable piece in my wardrobe, and I really love it. I've been wearing it quite a bit, and my only problem is that the buttons kind of but it made the fabric on the double knit button band kind of scrunch up and tighter, and I need to figure out how to fix that. I don't know how to fix it, and I really haven't looked into it too much, so it could be a me problem that I need to actually look up how to fix it. But anyway, this is the Agnes Cardigan that I knitted for myself. That is it for the Agnes Cardigan, and I will move on to the next finished object that I have, and that the last 3 things that I have are for my kids, so I will just keep this on and not try anything else on. This is Snowman Sweater from Drops, and I knitted this for my youngest. So I like making my kids a winter sweater, a winter design knit for the holidays. And I know there are opinions about Drops. I'm not gonna go into that. I'm just talking about this pattern. This is a top-down colorwork sweater with this cute little snowman motif on it. And I used Drops Alpaca? Nope, I used Drops Nepal, which I have some of it left over for this. And it's just really cute. I just I love it. I love it. It's cute. I love the colorwork design, which is really fun, and it's very addicting, for lack of a better word. And then these cute little carrot baubles here. So I knitted that one for my daughter, and then I knitted another one for my younger son, which was Rudolph's Parade. So this is also really cute, and he loves this one too. These are baubles here, and the nose is a little bauble, which is just so cute. I really had fun with making these. They were very quick to knit up because I think I used 5mm needles to work on these. And he's been wearing it a ton. I don't know if you could tell, but it's very fuzzy, which is not my favorite thing about this yarn, because I don't know, I don't mind like having to depill my knits at all if I've been wearing it for quite a bit, but considering that I only made this like less than a month ago and there's so much fuzzies on it, that doesn't make me very happy. So it's fine. He loves it. He wears it all the time, which is probably why. And my last garment is another sweater from my daughter, my older daughter. And I made the Lyon Sweater Chunky edition from Petite Knit. And I used Sanus Garns, Double Sunday, and Kid Silk in off-white, whipped cream. Petite Knits whipped cream, and then Petite Knits Sailor in the Dark for the blue nautical vibes stripe. I made that for her as a belated birthday gift. And I did not do the full turtleneck because she doesn't like turtlenecks, but she really likes this. And that is it for my 2024 knits. I still have my hat, my beanie going on my head. And I still have this sweater, this cardigan here. Yeah, that's it for my knits for 2024. Like I said, I still knitted quite a bit, and I'm happy with my productivity. Not that it should matter how much or how little you knit, but I'm happy with what I was able to finish this past year, and I came into 2025 with 5 whips, and then I cast on a sweater on the 1st for my younger son. So I currently have 6 whips going. For my goals for 2025, I don't really have any beside make 25 have 25 finished objects. I feel like it's doable because I did 28 this past year, so it's not far-reaching goal for me, and I want to continue using a lot of color. If anything, I want to use what I have, which is quite a bit, and I want to get rid of 25 sweater quantities worth of yarn, and I have that much that I can get rid of. Not get rid of, but use. So that's my vague, broad, so to speak, goals. Knit what I have. Knit 25 projects with 25 sweaters quantities worth of yarn. That's 1, 2, and continue knitting with more color. Those are my very broad goals that I have for 2025, and yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. It's probably going to be a little bit more than an hour. I have like an hour and 15 minutes going so far on the timer here. I know it was rambly, and it's been a few months since I've done this, so I apologize if it was kind of just lacking in some way. I appreciate that you are here. If you made it to the end, I really appreciate it, and thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so, and you can also follow me on Instagram and on Ravelry. I I'm very good about keeping up with my Ravelry on my project pages. I try to keep as accurate as I can there. So if you're interested in any of these things that I talked about, I will have it there if you're interested in any of the projects. I will probably not get to including everything in the description box because it was a lot, and getting every single detail out is going to take, I probably won't get this video out in time, or in a timely manner rather. So if you're interested in any of the details, it'll be on Ravelry. Please feel free to check me out there. I am Sarah Tawascano, and I will include it here as well. And I am Sarah Lilly Makes on Instagram, so please feel free to check me out there as well. I can't promise that I'll be back soon because I can't promise that. I'll try. I will try to be a good YouTuber and try to get videos out in a timely manner, but I can't promise. But if you are here, I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you watching, and I hope you enjoyed the content today. It was a lot, but that's it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time, whenever that may be. Bye.